customer named Jules, and it's a raw piece right out of the box, and I'm going to show you how I do a preliminary cut on the block before the customer comes in. So I put a pin 1 inch apart, and what that does, it anchors it down so that when I tug on the hair, it doesn't distort it. So now when I brush the hair, it's hugged against the block. If it's not pinned down properly, it'll move. So pinning it down right like this is important. Okay, now you see how long this hair is? This is like 8-inch hair. I'm going to cut it down to about 3 inches. From this point on, we don't need that excess hair. So by doing this, I save a lot of time and energy on the block before the customer comes in. Could I do it this way on his head? Yes. In competitions, you have to start off with it like this, long hair, and then cut it down in front of the judges and the audience and the other contestants. But this is the way I do it with the clients. Do you see this lace right through here? About 1 inch of lace. I'm going to trim that off 1/4 of an inch from that base. And the reason they leave this long is for theatrical wigs. Okay, what we would do is leave it long and then put the makeup over this and blend it into the skin. If there's more material, it's easier to work with. But on a client that is going to be wearing the piece, I trim all that off. That's the excess lace on the front. Okay, now I'm going to shorten the hair down. See how long that hair is? It's like 8-inch hair. I cut it like it's his own hair growing out of his head. If he came into me with all this hair and it was his own hair, I start at the very front. Like, this is his nose and forehead. I know approximately how much hair I want to take off. Now I'm coming at it from the side at an angle. See, I cut hair like a barber, not a hairdresser. What makes the difference? I pick the hair up with a comb, pull it to the length that I want, trim the ends. Pick it up, pull it to the length I want, trim the ends. And that's my way of making the hair more even than if you were a hairdresser taking hair like this over your fingers. That is the wrong way to do it. You can feel the hair, you can read the hair direction by picking it up and cutting it. You have more control over the hair. Over your fingers, all you're doing is stretching the hair to a certain length. That's one thing I do different than everybody else. See? This hair will be basically the same length all over. You've seen how long it was, and now watch by cutting it that way, the effect you get with see how the movement is coming into the hair. If the hair is too long, it won't lay like that. You have to shorten the hair down to that length in order to get this kind of a look. Okay, now this is a basic cut on the block, a preliminary cut. When the customer comes in, I put tape on it, put it on his head, wet it down, and then treat it like it's his own hair growing out of his head. But I have less hair to deal with, and I already have a good foundation to work with. See the wave, the movement in the hair? I could go back, I could go this way, forward. A lot of versatility. I can do anything with this hair I want. Right now it's still too long, but it's the right length. So that when he comes in, I'll wet it down and then take it from that point and do finishing work. Now compare that hair with this hair. See how long that was? Okay, now I'm going to trim all this, and I'll show you how this hair will lay different after it's short. This is the front. A spray bottle, a mist. See how that hair has curl? You want the curl in the hair. Why? Because in the wind, that's what will happen. So now the front is approximately the length that I want to start off with on the client. Yet this part here is way too long. I'm going to show you how I take that down. This is the base. I want to bring the hair out about 3 inches. See all that excessive hair? Okay, now, basically what I've done is taken that 8-inch hair, reduced it down to 3-inch hair. You can see the hair is basically the same length all the way around. That's just a preliminary cut. When I put it on the client's head is when I do the detailed work, and I blend it right into his own wave pattern on the side, and in the back and on the side. If you cut it too short, you'll run the piece. You have to be very accurate. Not too short, not too long, but this is enough hair I have to work with, and it's basically all even. And then when you take the brush and you flick it like this, the use of the brush is very important. I'm flicking it to take those ends and rotate them this way. Right now they're going every different direction, like in the wind. That's what hair would do. You want to cut it short enough so that in the wind you can just go like this and you're going to lay right down. So now I'm going to flick all these hairs down with a flicking motion like this. Rotates them. Then what I do, I spray it with water, and I mold it with my hands, create a little bit of a widow's peak hair, loose and irregular is what makes a hairpiece look natural. If it's too combed, it looks like a hairpiece, but you see all that movement in the hair? That's a tight, wavy hair. If the hair is too straight in the wind, it'll stand up. That's why you have to design the piece with curl. After you cut it down from 8-inch hair to 3-inch hair, it has a curl to it. If you don't design it right, when you cut it down, it'll stick out like a cornstalk. Cutting of a hairpiece is 75% of a hairpiece. If you make it with the right color, the right curl, the right density, it makes my job very easy. But the cutting of a hairpiece is 75% of it, and then trimming their own hair that the hairpiece blends into is the other 25%. You have to do that right, because if you don't do his own hair right, the piece won't blend in right. That's what makes me better than everybody else. I know how to cut hair. I've been doing it 50 years. So now this is the way I would start off with it when the client comes in. This is the order form. These are the samples that we made the hairpiece according to. All of the instructions. And then from this point, there's many things I can do with the hair. I can give him a pompadour going back, left to right, right to left, left part, right part, center part, anything I want to do with the hair. But it's the best hair you can use. The exact color of his own hair, and that's what it takes. So that's the preliminary cut, but then when I cut it in on his head, I have a little different procedure. I have less hair to deal with.